It is baseball's biggest stage in the Big Apple. The 120th World Series has shifted to New York, where tonight, after taking the first two games here in L.A., the Dodgers look to take a commanding 3-0 series lead on the Yankees. First pitch 60 minutes away. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Leadoff L.A. John Hartung here alongside Nomar Garcia-Parra, Oral Hershiser's. So now this World Series, Oral, it's at Yankee Stadium, hostile territory. What's the mindset of this Dodgers team being up 2-0?
You know what? I would erase the 2-0 from my mind, but how do you deal with positive news? Do you deal with positive news of create momentum and makes you a little lazy, or deal with positive news and say, I'm going to check that at the door and keep my same mindset? I would keep the same mindset. It's going to feel good as a pitcher, maybe a little bit more freedom on pitch selection early, but I'm still going to go with strategy and think it's 0-0.
Yeah, to me, I'm thinking you just kind of erase it. I'm with you. I'm one of those like, hey, it doesn't matter. We still have to continue to stay focused, play our game. We're going into an environment that you know is going to be intense, but we've been in those environments already. They've experienced that. No different. You don't have to worry about that. You worry about yourselves, and the Dodgers have been doing an excellent job focusing about themselves and what the task is at hand.
All right, well, the cloud hanging over the Dodgers' big Game 2 win, and the big question heading into Game 3, it was all about Shohei Ohtani and his shoulder. Shohei sustained a partial dislocation of his left shoulder, sliding into second base, was in a lot of pain as he came off the field. Then after the game, Dave Roberts was encouraged by the strength and range of motion in Shohei's shoulder. Incredibly, the Big Show is in the Dodgers lineup for Game 3. Speaking of that lineup, here's how Dave Roberts is stacking things to face Yankees right-hander Clark Schmidt. It is Shohei at the top with Mookie Betts to follow. Freddie Freeman homered in each of the first two games of this Fall Classic. Teoscar hit that tie-breaking homer in Game 2. Max Muncy in the 5th spot. Will Smith does the catching. Gavin Lux at second base. Kike is in center. And Tommy Edman is playing short. Oral, what sticks out to you?
Lineup that's firing on all cylinders compared to the Yankee lineup. They have a two-headed monster, and only one monster is hitting. That's Soto. This team, anybody can pop up and beat you.
Yeah, and you know what? Once again, we're talking about going into an environment like Yankee Stadium. It'd be nice to see them be able to get on the board early, especially with their studs at the top.
All right, I think all Dodger fans feared the worst on Saturday, that Shohei Ohtani was probably done for the World Series, but less than 48 hours later, Shohei is going to play in Game 3 tonight. Kirsten Watson is with the Dodgers at Yankee Stadium. She joins us live with more on Ohtani's quick recovery. Hello down there, Kirsten.
Hi, John. Well, as you mentioned, after Game 2, Dave Roberts was really encouraged when it came to Shohei Ohtani and the strength and mobility that he was showing with that shoulder. He was at the workout yesterday. He arrived late since he did not travel with the team, but the fact that he was able to go through the workout, take some dry swings, even take some swings in the cage, everyone felt like he was moving in the right direction. And even there was a report that he was going to be in the lineup. Dave Roberts talked about him today, gave the update on how he's feeling and how things just unraveled the last 2 days.
He was very adamant that he was going to play. I watched him take swings last night in the cage. Looked really good, strong. Ball was coming off the bat. So I think that there was more uncertainty in all of our minds, but in his mind from day one, from Saturday evening, he was going to play.
Did he mention what his pain level, where his pain level was at all?
No, not by any number. Obviously, there's some discomfort. I would say it's more discomfort, and that's kind of what I alluded to. It's subluxation. It's per individual's tolerance. Some swings are fine. Some swings were a little uncomfortable, but I think for me, it was more of we didn't feel like he was going to be compromised, and he was going to play.
Will Shohei still have the green light on the base paths?
He's not. I mean, I don't think he'll be running. I don't think he'll be running.
He, you know, he texted the whole team as we were on our way to the airport and said he was going to be fine, and that was it. He said he was going to play, and so we all just put it to the side at that moment. You know, we all said, all right, he's got us. You know, we'll be ready for him to be in the lineup.
And Max mentioned while you guys were on the bus after the game, he sent the group text to the players that, don't worry, I'll be all right. Were you aware of that at the time?
I wasn't, and I would have been helpful if I would have was on that thread. I would have slept better Saturday night. So I wasn't privy to that until earlier today, so that would have been helpful.
So like Max Muncy said, after the injury and after Game 2, Shohei Ohtani actually sent a text message to the players' text thread saying that he felt confident that he was going to be in the lineup. He was good to go. All of the scans came back negative, so there's no structural damage in that shoulder. So everything has been presenting really good signs. Now, he is, of course, he's taped up. He's taken some pain medicine just to kind of help him get through, because the pain level, it probably is a bit high when it comes to dealing with that shoulder popping out of its socket. It was popped back in immediately after the play. So for him to be in the lineup feeling good, like Dave Roberts has communicated, he is a full go. So if he's going to steal a base, he probably will do just that tonight. And he's going to look to do everything he possibly can to help this team win this one tonight, guys.
And hopefully he's got that same power in his swing. Kirsten, thank you very much. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I watched a couple of videos by orthopedic surgeons in the last 24 hours. Oral knows everything about the shoulder. But what I've gathered is that if there's no tear in Shohei's labrum, he should be able to take anti-inflammatories, maybe even a cortisone shot if he has pain. Nomar, what will you be looking for from Shohei when you see him swing in the bat?
Well, you know, I really want to see if he's able to keep the front shoulder. I know it's his back shoulder, but the front shoulder in. You know, it's easy to say, okay, everything should be fine, but there's also the subconscious of your body that wants to protect itself. And honestly, against the pitcher that you're facing today, you know, and you're at Yankee Stadium, if you're a lefty, it's really easy to see that short porch in right field and really get pull happy. And I'll tell you, Schmidt really does an excellent job with that breaking ball underneath the hands on the lefty. He wants you to feel that way, so you want to stay on it. So I want to see if he's still able to really keep that front shoulder in and stay on it and trust that, okay, even if it's away, that I can trust my back shoulder for the extension. That's what I'm going to be telling him, because if he starts, when he gets in trouble, his front shoulder leaks out with his front hip. His front hip can go, but when his front shoulder leaks with that front hip, that's what we see. He struggles on the pitch that's up in the zone, and there's a time where you might be doing that just to compensate, because you know you have your lead arm being that stronger arm to try to protect the back arm. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. And the other thing is, if he happens to swing and miss, to see his reaction on that, because oftentimes it's not when you make the contact, it's a swing and miss where you feel the pain.
Yeah, as a pitcher, you are watching everything that's going on. You're watching swings, you're watching foul balls, you're watching the position of your pitch. You do this with regular guys, but you do it even more with somebody who's just been hurt or coming back from injury. A lot of times with hands, guys don't want to be jammed. A lot of times with shoulders, they don't want to extend because they feel like their power is keeping it together. And what Nomar mentioned about the front hip, if he doesn't feel like the shoulders are stable enough to really launch with the wrists and the arms, then he's going to be trying to get it done with his lower half and maybe opening up too soon. So maybe he makes an adjustment, gets on top of the plate and says, you're going to have to jam me. I'm turning the outside corner into the middle of the plate, and they're going to have to pitch him a certain way. That's something the Yankees are going to have to look for, is if he's making adjustments, they're going to have to adjust back. But for right now, I think they're going to try and keep the ball out of the middle of the plate and change speeds, because you know, Nomar, when the shoulders, you don't want to get into that extension mode, even though it is top hand.
Yeah, the other thing, you know, Dave Roberts was talking about him running. I don't see him running. I don't see him stealing. Yep. Yeah, that's understandable, and some might back home might say, well, why don't you just steal on the other side and then put the other arm down because it's the left arm? Well, it's really hard. Yeah. I always call it somebody who's an ambidextrous slider. You usually just slide with one leg. Your body's so used to tucking in one leg, so that usually is really hard. The one thing, though, you look out for is maybe if he does have to slide or whatever on the bases, is telling your body to keep that hand in, that you don't want to put it down. It's sliding while keeping up. Easier said than done, because you're so used to doing it one way to balance yourself. But if he's thinking about stealing a base, and that's what he's telling himself, to tuck that arm in and not put it down to protect it, you end up losing about a step or two as you're going, because your mind is thinking, and then it's not just going as fast. So those are all factors that he and probably the team is aware of.
Originally, baseball, you were taught to throw your arms up in the air, so you never hurt your hands or that, but everybody has designed their own slides. And he made it through a whole year stealing an awful lot of bags with that slide.
All right, well, the Dodgers had the home field as well as the home crowd for games 1 and 2, but now the Yankees are going to have the raucous crowd behind them. Plus, Oral, we know they're going to be a desperate team, being down 2-0. They've got the next 3 and they're building. How can the Dodgers keep the Yankees from building some momentum back in the series?
Well, early on, get a run and get the crowd out of it, but you're never going to get the Yankee Stadium crowd out of it completely. You're going to have to get like 5 runs before you'll get them completely out of it, because as soon as they get a guy on, they're going to be back in the game. And I think as a pitcher, this is a lineup that you can get out in the strike zone. Okay, Judge is chasing, so go ahead and let him chase some more. If he wants to take his walk, let him take his walk. He has to walk once before I'm going to pitch to him. And then Soto, he's going to get his hits. But the rest of them, you can get them out in the strike zone right now.
Yeah, one thing is when you're talking amongst each other in the clubhouse, say, listen, we played here before. I think that's helped them. They played here early in the season, right? And listen, I know World Series is going to be more intense than it was during the season. Understandable. But at the same time, too, they also played the Mets over in New York. And that was an intense environment as well, and they took care of business there. So all of these things they have gone through. So they understand that it's going to be an intense environment. They understand it's going to be loud. They know all of these things. And you know what? If you're in the right mindset, you're loving it. You can't wait. That's what the excitement's all about. You want it to be loud. Listen, I have played there, and it's super loud, and it's deafening. It is awesome. And the best thing, the other feeling is when you make it silent. So there's an opportunity to both of those things. So yeah, it is deafening, it is loud, it is intense, it is awesome.
They don't boo bad people.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's true.
They boo
Plus,
good
they
ones.
played at Petco Park, and we know what San Diego Padres fans and how they view the Dodgers in an October series. That place was absolutely rocking. Dodgers took care of business down there to get here to the World Series. Even in late October, there's always something you can pick up during batting practice. Mookie and the Dodgers getting in their final swings before Game 3, coming up right at 5 o'clock. Plus, Freddie Freeman has homered in each of the first 2 games of this World Series, ankle and all. Why maybe we shouldn't be surprised he's coming up big on the biggest stage. Anytime you're on an all-time leaderboard for the World Series, it is impressive. Freddie Freeman has homered in 4 straight World Series games dating back to his time with the Braves in 2021. In 8 World Series games, his career slugging percentage, .806, 4th best in history. Just 2 spots behind him is Juan Soto. You see Barry Bonds, a ridiculous slugging percentage of close to 1,300. Now in order for Freddie Freeman's Game 1 walk-off slam to be remembered with true legendary status, Dodgers need to finish the job in this World Series. Back to the Bronx we go. Kirsten joins us again live with more on Freddie. Hello, Kirsten.
Hi, John. Yeah, so for Freddie Freeman, he is someone, as we know, he's been battling that ankle injury that happened at the end of the regular season. And even in the NLCS, when Dave Roberts was talking about just his quality of at-bats, he felt like there was some compensating just due to that ankle. Well, in these first 2 games of the World Series, we've seen home runs in each of them from him. Of course, the walk-off grand slam in Game 1. But earlier today, Max Muncy was talking about Freddie Freeman, how he's getting back to his true self and what it's meant to his teammates to have a guy like Freddie who's been posting out there even while dealing with this ankle injury.
Yeah, he looks pretty close to normal. It's been pretty special. You know, you're talking about a 6-week injury that he came back from in essentially 4 or 5 days. He obviously wasn't himself, but, you know, you're talking about a name like Freddie Freeman in the lineup. That does a lot. And just having certain guys in the lineup does a lot because the other team doesn't ever know how a certain guy's feeling. You can obviously look out there and see, but you have no idea what he's actually feeling like. And for example, you might try to have a lefty come in and face him, and he hits a grand slam. You have no idea what that guy is actually going to be like in the box. You just know that that guy's been doing it for 15, 16 years now, and been one of the most consistent hitters in all of baseball. And you know that's something that it's huge having a guy like that in the lineup.
The biggest thing when it comes to Freddie Freeman, and I think the most compelling thing has been when he hasn't felt like his ankle has been in a good spot for him to go out there and be supportive to his team. He's decided that, you know what, today is not the day for him to be out there on the field. Let the other guys, they know they have the guys and the support to get things done in this postseason. So for Freddie Freeman to be out there when he's good, it's been incredibly telling. And when he's been down, when he's not feeling the best, that's also been very telling. So for this group, it's good that he's out there. It's good that Shohei Ohtani is feeling good and back out there as well, because multiple guys are dealing with injuries, but they're willing and they want to push through it to give the best they can to this team to help them achieve the goal of winning another World Series, guys.
That's right, Kirsten. Whatever it takes to get 2 more wins over the Yankees in this series. Thank you very much. In the division series and also in the NLCS, it looked like Freddie Freeman wasn't really trusting his plant leg because the ankle was probably hurting so much, Nomar. But first 2 games of this series, he looks like Freddie Freeman once again. And it's paying off. He's doing damage in the Fall Classic.
Yeah, there's a couple of things. I mean, one, he looks confident, and that's great to see. And the other thing is he looks confident in his swing. And he talked about how prior to the World Series, one, yeah, the ankle was feeling a lot better. We know that, and that rest really helped. He talked about there was a few cues that he was trying and that really seemed to work that he recognized, and I think just kind of clicked for him, and that is huge, and I think that's one of the big reasons for his success. Obviously, that plant leg feeling better so he can do the things that he wants to do, but I think those other cues, and I'm sure talking to Dad, it is a huge help in recognizing and understanding the swing and feeling that confidence, and that's why we saw the big home run and the pointing and the big hug, which was still, to this, it touches me, it's priceless.
You get on it, you get off it. That's when you have pain, and so that can change your mechanics. It's also a mental battle. Physical battle, yes, with pain, but a mental battle then once it goes away. And really, he conquered the mental battle. If they got him to a point medically and the rest where the pain was starting to go away or almost going away, then the mental battle is trust it. And he trusted it, and he is trusting it.
And the fact that he feels so good with a swing right now is such a great sign for the final games of this World Series. In their 13 postseason games, the Dodgers have hit 24 home runs, accounting for 43 runs. They did score their first 2 runs of this World Series all on sac flies, but the other 8 runs scored on home runs. And maybe I'm pointing out a pimple on a supermodel here because they're up 2 games to none, but have the Dodgers become too reliant on the long ball in your mind?
You didn't even use the teleprompter for that line, John. That was really good. I'm telling you what, they got to score runs in 2 different ways, right? Hitting with runners in scoring position or hitting for power. If they do one or the other, they win games usually because the pitching has been solid. When they don't do either, that's when they get in trouble. So I don't mind that they're getting a large percentage of the runs from the home run. That's the way this team has been built. And this year, what got them to the World Series was hitting with runners in scoring position. That's good, too.
I prefer runners in scoring position, knocking those in. I really do, because they're going to give themselves opportunities.
I prefer models with clear skin.
But at the same time, the one thing, though, when I see them, when I watch their approach, the difference between this team, you're right, they have a lot of thump ball. You are not wrong, and they can provide it. But they are not looking for that. I don't think they're going out there really swinging for the fences. I think we've seen Dodger teams in the past where they are.
Yeah.
You see every single guy taking the big swings and doing that. This team is not. I think it's a byproduct. The home runs and the way they're scoring the runs is a byproduct of a quality swing and a quality of approach that they're trying to have consistently of staying within the zone, not swing out of the zone, and they're putting good swings. I mean, a perfect example is Tommy Tanks. Tommy Tanks, that's not, he's capable of hitting the ball home runs. We know that, we see that, but that's not his game. So he's not going out there every single at-bat trying to knock it out. He's trying to have a quality swing and square it, and it is going out of the ballpark for him. So I think the long ball is just a byproduct. I think they stay within themselves and continue doing it.
Yeah, I think you're right, because if you matched it up with a lot of strikeouts, you'd say this is a team on the verge of getting cold.
Yeah, yes.
But it's not being matched up with a lot of strikeouts. Just so happens when it's in the strike zone, they're not chasing, and they're hitting it, and it's going to turn out to be a home run.
Yeah. All right, still more to come. Alex Vesia made baseball history Saturday night. The first one-pitch save in World Series history. We will hear from Vesia on Access coming up. Plus, Teoscar Hernandez, a great Dodgers took 2 or 3 from the Yankees in the Bronx back in June. Teoscar Hernandez had a monster weekend to the point the New York Daily News put Teo on the cover with the headline, Teoscar the Grouch. Teo went 6 for 12 in that series, hit 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, included a 2-homer, 6 RBI game. Hopefully he can draw on those good feelings and good memories tonight. And Teo remember, he was having a really tough NLCS. He was 0 for 18 in the first 5 games of that series. Then he had a multi-hit game in the clincher against the Mets. He's followed that up, Nomar, going 3 for 8 in this World Series. Had the huge tie-breaking home run in Game 2 against the Yankees. Seems like his bat could be heating up at a perfect time.
Yeah, it really looks good at the plate. And we all know the most important thing as a hitter to have is confidence when you step into the batter's box. It's really easy, and especially in the biggest stage, in the biggest moment where you're just feeling maybe, man, I'm just not on right now, or I'm just missing pitches. That confidence starts to go down. You start to press. But, man, he's been squaring the balls up and seeing some of the success that he's had so far in this World Series is huge for Teoscar Hernandez, because we know we need him as Dodger fans to continue what he did all season long, and that is drive in runs. Because you usually know those guys in the front are finding ways to get on base. When he is that threat, obviously he helps the guys in front of him, and so then you've got to pick your poison who you're going to pitch to, and then he also helps the guys behind him as well. So Teoscar Hernandez, seeing those swings are all great to see, and I can't wait to see what he does today.
You know, a large portion of his career before becoming a Dodger, he was a streaky hitter. and it was about Chase. And we thought what we were getting here is somebody that's going to have power, it's going to hit left-handers, going to drive in a lot of runs, but he's going to have some chase. But you know what? He watched Mookie Betts, he watched Freddie Freeman, he watched all the different guys, Max Muncy, and all of a sudden he became a different hitter. Yeah, for a couple series, did he fall back into not putting it in play as much and maybe chasing a little too much? But he settled back in, and I think this is going to be fine. Teo is a guy that rises to the moment, and I look forward to seeing the rest of these series.
He certainly rose to the moment back in June at Yankee Stadium. Hostile crowd. He had a huge weekend. Hopefully more of the same these next couple nights. Tommy Edman, he's having a Nomar-esque October, hitting .365 in 13 games. He's knocked in 13 runs. It's Game 3 coming up at 5 o'clock. Like Nomar, they just always look cool. That's Jack Flaherty. He is one of those cool guys. That's how he's arriving to Game 3 tonight in style. All right, so as a kid, Oral, I remember the Dodgers won the first 2 games at home against the Yankees in the 1978 World Series. Then they lose the next 4 in a row. Dodgers win tonight. They go up 3-0. And 39 out of the 40 times that's happened in a best-of-7 in Major League Baseball history, that team has gone on to win it all.
I think we win tonight. Let's go win it all. I think, you know, Jerry talks about must-wins. This is a must-win for the Yankees. I mean, the Dodgers are in a good place, win or lose tonight. So I don't feel like this is going to happen where the Yankees are going to come back, but I know we got to take it one game at a time. The thing I'm looking for Walker Buehler to pitch really well tonight. I think that's really going to set some tone.
Yeah, the way I look, you know, you never assume anything. You know, you don't think you got this in the bag just because you have 2-0. You got to go out there and keep playing your game. And you always just talk about in the clubhouse, don't take your foot off the gas. That's what you're trying to do. You know that where that position the Yankees are in, you know the position you're in, but you do not take your foot off the gas. You continue having quality at-bats, put the pressure on them.
All right, straight ahead, much more on Big Game. Buehler getting the ball for Game 3, plus Kirsten one-on-one with Alex Vesia on Access next.
そしてドジャースの勝利への道がまた一歩近づきました。大谷選手の復帰、フリーマン選手の見事なプレー、チーム全体が一丸となって目指すのはワールドシリーズ制覇です。この熱気と絆を一緒に楽しみましょう。応援の気持ちを込めて、ぜひチャンネル登録とコメントで感想をシェアしてくださいね。次の試合も盛り上がっていきましょう。ドジャース、頑張れ。